Hi, welcome to the Wwise tutorial. Today I'm gonna introduce how to do the music implementation in Wwise for the game Intercept. Intercept is a game built with Unity and Ink. So basically, Ink is an application where you can write story and script. Here we can see the story of Intercept on Ink. And with the script like this, #key Wwise event something something, it can trigger the corresponding event in Wwise. That's how the music in Wwise sync with Unity gameplay. In the Events tab within Wwise, we can see different categories that I set up for this game, which is based on several choices that the player can select in the game. So we have background music, confess music, evade music, and lie music. There's also music for main title, and different endings, and some stingers. Event is a collection of a sequence of commands. For example, at the very beginning of the game, it would trigger the event MX Haro Stinger. Within this event, I set the state as none, and play Intercept switch and play Intercept flyover playlist. Because I set the state to none, so it will only play Intercept flyover playlist. To understand why, let's look at Game Syncs tab. In the Game Syncs tab, we can create several state groups to match the state with gameplay. For example, we can create menu, location, or gameplay state group. Here I created a player state group. Within that contains many states, such as background, confess, ending, evade, and lie. On the top, we can see there's switches. And here I created switches for different layers. For example, background music contains 3 layers, which is root, cello, and violin. And lie music has 6 layers. The reason why I set up states and switches here is because we need to tell the system which game state are we now. Then it can trigger the corresponding music. Let's go to the Audio tab to see how states and switches connect with music. Here I have an Intercept switch container, an Intercept flyover playlist, and several stinger playlists, and a main title segment. With the Intercept switch, I have different music that corresponding to the state in Game Syncs tab. So now we are selecting Intercept switch. On the right side, we can add the state or switch group that we want to connect with Intercept switch music. Here I already connected it with my player state group. And then we need to drag the corresponding music to the state. Then we can see them showing up here. So background 1 state match with background 1 switch music. Confess state match with confess music, and so on. Now that we connected music with states, we want to make sure that music would switch smoothly between different states. So let's select Intercept switch and go to the Transitions tab. Here we can control how music goes out and goes in. In this game, I want the source music to end right away when it switches to another state. So I set exit source at immediate. And I want the new music comes in starting at the beginning of the queue. So I set the destination sync to entry queue. I also want to have a smooth fade in and fade out between different music. So this is how I set up. This is the transition between different states. But what if the player is in the same state, just the music add one more layer? Then we will set up transition differently. For example, in the Intercept light switch, I have 6 layers. But I don't want the music to start over when a new layer is added. So here at Destination Sync 2, instead of setting to entry Q, I set to same time as playing segment. There is one more thing that I want to mention. At actor mixer hierarchy, this is where I put my sound effect. Here I have ominous SFX clarinet, suspenseful SFX cymbal, tension SFX hit, and uneasy SFX combo. You may notice that these sound effects are actually the same original materials as my stingers. The reason why I have sound effect is because I want to play this sound when certain state is triggered, so it kind of helps to smooth the transition between different states. But I don't want them to sound the same as stinger. Therefore, we need to tweak a little bit on the materials. For example, we can adjust the pitch and add some variations. In this case, I set the pitch to detune to -2000 and enable the randomizer with minimum offset to -1000. So the sound will play with tuning between -2000 to -3000. Let's hear the original ominous stinger sound. And the ominous sound effect after detuned. Also, because detune would make the audios become longer, it may turn out too long for the sound effect. So we can go to adjust materials individually. Here we need to switch to designer layout so that we can adjust audio material. So we want to make it shorter and add nice fade in and fade out. Another thing is that because these sound effects are for smooth transition, they are not the main sound that I want players to hear. So I want to put their volume down. Here I created a bus under master audio bus called Stinger SFX, and I route all my sound effect output go to this Stinger sound effect bus. Therefore, I can adjust them all together instead of adjust them individually. And because I cut those sounds shorter, the reverb tail are cut as well, so we can add reverb on Stinger SFX bus in the Effects tab to make it sound more natural. After this, let's go to Events tab to see how I put them together. For example, at MX Conface event, I set the state as Conface and play suspenseful SFX symbol. That means when the play state switches to Conface, it will play both Conface music and suspenseful sound effect. Notice here I have play Intercept switch, but I didn't check the inclusion box. This is one of the things that I learned from this project. We only need to set up one time to play Intercept switch, and it will keep playing music inside Intercept switch container based on different player state. Unless we set a command to stop it. So in this case, I already triggered the Intercept switch at the beginning of the game, but I just set the state as none, so it won't play anything until it changes to other player state. Once we finish the setup, we can test the music on Soundcaster. We can create a new Soundcaster session and drag the events that you want to test. Here I already set up one Soundcaster session called Intercept Test. So let's test it. So at the beginning, the main title music plays. And then at some point, it would trigger the MX Haro Stinger. So remember what I said before? In the MX Haro Stinger, we set the state to none, so it won't play Intercept switch, but only play Intercept flyover playlist. This synth pad low drone sound will play through the whole game. I use it as a glue to make it more coherent between different sections of the game. Now the background when music plays, and switch to evade. So remember what I set up in the event. When I trigger certain music, it will also trigger the sound effect. And this can also help the transition between different states more smooth. Let's play Stinger Ominous. And come back to intense background music. There's also a sound effect playing at the same time when I trigger the intense background music. Let's try another stinger. Let's hear different layers in light music. Here I didn't set up to play sound effect at the same time, so we can hear the transition between different layers more clearly. So there's a synth pad add on layer 2. Now violin joins the music. Notice that the music won't start over when add one more layer. That is because on the transition tab in the Intercept light switch, we set the destination sync to same time as playing segment. Now we add the heartbeat layer. And cello joins the music. Here we play another stinger. Now let's hear the confessed music. And another stinger. Say the player runs away successfully, so here's one of ending music. Thank you for watching Wwise tutorial. Here is my video demo for the game Intercept.